Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Favorite time of the week when we do these lives and have the most impressive guests that I've ever met. Natalie is probably laughing in the audience because anytime right before a live, I start singing, and it is these little like jingles like that. So now I'm so glad that I have just brought you all into this. But clearly, I am so excited for today's session, all about how you can 2x your income and cut your amount of work in half with dashboarding. And I think when everyone read that title, they're like, yes, please tell me more. So pumped to have Layne Booth on today. But before we get started, I want a question for all of you to get the back and forth going. So usually when I come up with these questions, I try to like tie it into the topic and I try to get really cutesy with it. And I'm not going to do that today. Instead, I'm just going to be selfish and I need to turn my brain off. So put into chat, what TV shows are you watching? Such a selfish ask, but I just need a list. What TV shows are you watching? Dark Matter. I've heard such great things. Acolyte. Never heard of that one. Gonna check it out. What else? What TV shows are you watching? If you're not TV show people, what podcasts, books? I want to hear. Put it in the chat. New Star Wars show on Disney. Oh, okay. Yeah, my husband will be all over that. I probably don't want to tell him. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. Lupin. Oh, so good, lady. So good. Wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all of you who are here today. As always, I'm Ashley Connell, CEO and founder of Prowess Project. What does Prowess Project do? We help women who want to pivot in their careers become online business managers so they can make the income, the impact, and really use the skills that they have to help CEOs grow their business. So we train them and then match them up with clients. In all of this, my main job is to spread the word about all of the amazing online business managers who are in our community. And in doing that, I go to a ton of networking groups, conferences, etc. And that is where I met our absolute amazing guest for today. So I went to a conference and she did, I think, a 3-hour presentation on operations, dashboarding, measuring metrics, the whole thing. And the entire room were all like the visionary CEOs like me. And none of us have the ops brain like all of you. And when I tell you that everyone was jaw to the floor, it was amazing. So I'm so excited to bring her here today to meet all of you. And then one more thing before I bring her in, I also have to thank Layne so much for being such a generous woman, for her time here, and then also just helping me in general become a better CEO. So that is going to be infused throughout our entire interview. And with that, I'm so honored to bring up Layne Booth.
Hello, everyone. Happy to be here. Thank you so much, Ashley, for the warm welcome and such a delight to share with your community today. I find like OBMs in particular are so well positioned to take this like little bit of a tweak in their path to really start turning data into dollars, to really start leveraging their skill sets that you've already enhanced for them so that they really can start charging more premium prices and working less hours, because let's face it, like women busy, like we got stuff going on. We ain't got time for the traditional like corporate career path. Like, come on, let's do something a little different these days, right?
I could not agree more. Women be busy. That is so true. Okay, I'm gonna have you introduce yourself. Give us the quick overview of how you got to where you are today in your professional journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, it was not that long ago. I was in a traditional corporate role. I was, a director and manager over our forecasting department for a I think we're up to about 400 million per year in our department, in our sector. And it was my job to figure out like what was going to happen. Let's predict. I need Layne to predict the future of if we're going to make another 400 million this year. So that was the weight that was on my shoulders. And actually, I really loved it. Like I loved digging into the weeds a little bit to figure out like, all right, well, what, like, I know they want this like big goal at the end of the year. So how do I break that down month by month? How do I break that down with those initial key performance indicators, those initial, triggers that are going to let us know, hey, are we on track by the end of Q1, Q2, Q3? And we don't just end up with a hot, sticky mess come like November and we try to fix everything the last month of the year. And so while that was a lot of fun, also was a lot of tiring, long days, barely seeing my kiddos at that point in time. And so I decided like, hey, if numbers are so important for big businesses to become even bigger, then I know it's also got to be crucial for the small business world. So that's where I started working nights and weekends originally to figure out, hey, how could I do some like still number nerdy stuff, but do it for more of the small business world that's also very agile. So like we could make a change and then they could see results like in a matter of days, not, years going forward. So that's when I started talking to small business owners. I found very quickly that nobody knew their numbers and they were like literally driving their business blind. Actually, like, have you seen this? Anybody in the chat, have you seen blind business drivers?
Yes, I have seen them, and yes, I have been them. So that is the top thing that CEOs, when they are coming to us to hire an online business manager, oftentimes it's get the systems done so that I can then start measuring and then start making wise decisions. So yes, 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 yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. I love it.
That's where I was too. And I was like, hey, if I could just like figure out a way to use my like zone of genius to help them understand their numbers better. I don't really know what the results would be, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be better than how they have been doing things. So that for me was like an original trial and error. Like, hey, I'd love to work with you. Like, I'll set things up for you in this way. And then like, let's do that for 3 months and see how it looks. It was not super savvy in marketing lingo. And it was just like, hey, I think I can help you. I've seen this in big businesses. I think I could make this work for you too. And guys, like what was so cool is like these businesses started booming very, very quickly. Like we were able to save one of our first clients like a $40,000 reduction in her next cycle of inventory that she was going to bring in. She thought she was going to have this like huge bill. We're like, no, you're good for a little while. Like, how about we cut that bill in half? You only need to spend, this amount. We worked with another business who was like literally losing sales all the time. She just didn't see this like leaking spot in her business. She's just like, I feel like I'm just always, people are always wanting more and I never have it. So we helped her with managing like, okay, well, this is what your demand for your product actually looks like right now. And so we started on the product side of things, then started moving into the service industry. So that's where we worked with like a handyman service. And so they were having challenges making sure they could hit all the appointments that they needed to, make sure they had their routes, firing in a more efficient way. We moved into online memberships. So there was like a really cool speech and language membership that she was trying to get the word out to help parents for, kids that needed more therapy. And so being able to fix some of the funnel leaks that were happening all along the way, like allowed her to grow very, very rapidly. And that allowed them to like double and triple in a short amount of time, but also started helping me like, maybe I could charge a little more for this. Maybe I could also double what I'm seeing here. And so that's how that came into play. I was like, all right, I'm going to stop, like trading like the hourly rate, game. I'm going to start doing packages. And I'm going to be very specific about what packages I do. And that's where like the dashboarding game really got solidified. And like, hey, I could do all this other stuff, but we always start with the dashboard. Like that's what I want to be known for. That's what I want to be referable for. And then I get to decide if I want to invite people to work in a greater capacity for me going forward.
I love it. I love it. So many things that I have questions about later. I want to remind everyone that this is your time. So if you have specific questions for Layne, put it into the chat, and we will hopefully get them over to you. All right. Okay. So right now, Layne, you have it's my understanding that you have a consulting company that builds the dashboards that is done for you, and you build the dashboards and then potentially can have more services that surround that.
Mm-hmm.
And you teach people how to build dashboards. How did that come about?
Yes. So I will say, like, I was very fortunate in the beginning to come across a method of really like systemizing what it was that I wanted to do for my clients. And so if anybody of you have ever gone through this like methodology, you're basically like, hey, my current client is here and they don't like where they are right now, but I want to get them here. Like, I want to take them from A to Z. Then some other languaging around this might be like, hey, they're currently in this like hell and they want to get over into the heaven, right?
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'm here like with my corporate background. I've done some big stuff for people. I've also got a little bit of understanding with the 2 or 3 clients I originally started working for. How can I get them to like double their business, but in a way that's like predictable and repeatable for me executing every single time? Because I don't want to have to reinvent the wheel every time. I want to do like follow the same framework and follow the same system. And what will happen is like we basically identified there are 6 key steps that I take my clients through, and now we take our students through, so that they can get these predictable results every single time for their client. And it always starts with, understanding the data behind it. So our data-driven offer still walks them through key steps and a system that we can rinse and repeat every single time, that allows us to really leverage our time, so that for people in the audience, what that means is like you work less. The more you run the system, do you get better or worse at it? We get better at the things we do over and over and over again. And so if we're so freaking good at this after doing it 100 times, guess what happens for our clients? They get so much freaking better results as a result of this as well. So it's just like this like lovable flywheel that just keeps happening. Like, we get better results, we get better at it. And then we also build more and more confidence that we can continue to raise our rates in the process.
I love it, love it, love it. So we just went through a huge dashboarding project at Prowess Project, because what we realized we needed as our team was growing is one place to see the health of the business.
Mm-hmm.
Like, which of our key measurables do we need to be focused on? If there's like an oh shit moment, if something is way off course, we need to focus on that one in order to make everything go forward. And what I will tell you from my perspective, the peace that I feel knowing that we have numbers in one place that we can see, and the information that we can see, and an automation that just sucks the numbers in real time and the dashboard changes. I want everyone who's listening, it is priceless. Priceless, 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 priceless. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm curious about is, first we had a question about technology. Are there specific technologies that you use or that you want them to use for the dashboarding?
Ooh, great question. So I will say, at the end of the day, guys, like, I am software agnostic. Like, if you found like the best thing for you and your clients, like, by all means, like, lean into that. However, I will say after doing this for over 6 years and 100 different clients, what we have found in the small business space is finding software that ties in directly with the software that your clients are using makes it such an easier lift for you. And if that software is also very user-friendly, double win. And so we've actually come across a platform called Clipfolio. And actually, I can drop a link into an example dashboard for you guys so you can take a look. That really visualizes the data really well. It makes it beautiful. It's real time. It's automated. It links directly to your client's data sources, and it doesn't require a lot of manual updates and entries. So we use Clipfolio. That's what we teach in our certification program as well. Whether or not they would like to, our students would like to continue using that going forward, like by all means, you're welcome to change. But like they've been around the block for a while. They're not some new, like heavily marketed, skeleton of a software. They've been around for a long time. We have some really great customer service and relationships with them as well. So Clipfolio is our jam over here.
I love it. I love it. And great question. Awesome. Okay. So you just mentioned that you like Clipfolio because it's great for small businesses. And you mentioned at the beginning that you wanted to take everything from the big corporations that you were working on and doing the same for small businesses. So who purchases dashboards? How do you, if all of our audience was going to try and target them, what do they look like?
Yes. Probably one of the most asked questions.
I'm sure.
So guys, like, let me just ask the audience here real quick. If you would like to charge higher rates, do you think you should work with beginners or more advanced businesses? Let me know in the chat. What do you think it might be? Okay, and like I say this with love, because what I see, especially with like OBMs, like high functioning VAs, like very skilled people, like for some reason there's this tendency to like, but let me test it with like this person that's sold 2 things out of their Etsy store. And instead, guys, like you will make more money when you solve rich people problems. Mic drop moment. You will make more money when you solve bigger money problems. And so one of the things I hope you walk away with is that, guys, like, stop going after the small folks. Like, you need people that have skin in the game. What we have found is like, hey, they need to be making at least $250,000 plus in the business, ideally. Very, very hungry to hit that 7-figure mark, and ideally are even into the multi-6, multi-7 figures as well. That tends to be what I found as the sweet spot for, hey, they've got skin in the game, and they also really they're hungry to see that growth. They're willing to invest and put dollars behind it so that they are actually seeing results, and they want to see those results on a daily basis. They don't want to find out at the end of the year from their bookkeeper that, hey, you didn't quite make it. These are the folks that are typically like they have a small team, whether consultant or fractional, or maybe even a couple of W-2s. And we've seen them across different industries. So we've worked with the veterinarians, the massage practices, the chiropractors, we had like a lighting company, a chimney company, online learning, business coaches, health coaches. Like, it's pretty much everybody that like wants to truly grow and have more impact and income in the process. Like, they need a dashboard in place.
Aside from the whiteboard drop moment, yes. I think what I see is the difference, or what you're really underscoring is that hunger.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard. It's hard as a one-person coach, consultant, solopreneur to get past that $250 hump. It takes oftentimes a lot of time, like opportunity cost, in addition to money, people, all the different things. So I really like that is what you honed in on there, like really hungry to get to the next level and want to invest.
Yeah.
It's so true.
And if I can add there too, Ashley, like a call out would be like, the types of people are not like, they're also not holding on to every dollar. Like, they are the ones that are going to the paid workshops. They're the ones that are investing in masterminds. They're the ones that are running ads. Like, you will see, like, they're already telling you with where they're spending their money right now. So if you get into rooms where, hey, these people are all running Facebook ads, or hey, this is a paid workshop, maybe I should be there too, or hey, they're investing in this next women's conference, like I want to make sure that I'm there and I've got a seat at the table. Too many times I think that people are just they're going to be able to just like sit back and like message people on social media or like do that one post. I guess it's like, that's not where your people are. It does require like getting out and getting in the rooms that they're in as well.
Oh man, Layne, that's such a good point. Like, as much as you love to hate networking, like it's right. You're right, and it's the people who are investing in other things are going to be the people who invest in help in all realms. I love it. I love it. I love it. So talk to us about any pointers you have on how to package a dashboard project, or if you suggest retainers, especially if you've never done one before.
Yeah. All right. Give me a second. I'll have to pull up the whiteboard on this one. Hopefully it behaves itself. Because I think it just I pushed the leg a little bit too hard when I was writing. All right. We can do it. We got it. All right. Good whiteboard. You're going to stay up there for me. All right. So hopefully, got this thing. I'm gonna give you the quick and dirty version. And if you guys would like to see the like full shebang, I am hosting a workshop at the end of the month that you're cordially invited to. We'll drop the link for that in just a second. But I would love to give you, like, if you're like me, like you kind of need to see like an overarching, like what's the overall game plan here to make sense of all the bits and pieces. So the way we have structured this, we always start every single client with a dashboard build. There's always a build phase. And this build phase is anywhere from 60 to 90 days. Because if you're anything like me, the first time you build something, it's got a little room for improvement. Like, it's a really good first draft, but guess what? The more you work with it for a month or two in real time with a real team, with a real business, you find that there's some tweaks that you can make to improve it. So that's why we might get it built in a 30-day period, but we want to stick around for another 60 to 90 days to make sure that it's really flowing and makes sense for that business before we hand it off. Was that most people didn't really want to hand off. Like, they already suck at the data. They're not magically awesome at it overnight. So you typically come on as like a data interpreter or a data advisor inside their business. This is why OBMs in particular are so great at this, because you understand like what's happening holistically in the business, right? Like, you are that anchor that helps make sense of, well, here's what happened in marketing in your last launch, and then here's what we did as a team, and then here's, maybe you've also got some insights into what's happening on the financial side. Like, you already get it, and that's what makes you so powerful with this. So that dashboard build, we typically call that an executive dashboard, so that it does encompass some marketing, operations, and financials all in one. But then they're like, please don't leave me. This is working. I want more of it, right? So then we build out into one of three options. So this is where like the real money comes into play, because while it's nice to get like a $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 pop from just building the dashboards, has anybody like ever chased for like your next client and you're like, oh, it'd be so nice if like I didn't have to like keep finding clients. I could just work with the ones I already have. It's like 8 times less expensive to just work with the ones you already got. So how about we just make it really easy for them to select a package to continue working with us? So we developed 3 packages. We have a maintenance, a mentorship, and then a fractional, whatever your specialty is, COO, CFO, CMOs out there, like some sort of fractional component. And then we're charging $500, $1,500, $3,000 for those packages going forward. If you want more details on like what goes all in there, come to the workshop. But that's overarching, like that's our play. Like, yeah, you guys got it. Like, we do the thing, we make sure they get results, we make sure we like working together. And then if everything is moving, we've also identified what their biggest pain points are, what their biggest leaks are. And like, if you guys like, no matter what your ongoing service was, if you always just started here, can you imagine how much better equipped you would be to serve your clients?
Yeah, oh my gosh, I love this, Layne. We need to talk more offline because in Prowess Project, as we're teaching the OBMs, we have a 4-step process, and the first one is data. It's data and creating dashboards, and I mean, I'm sure yours are whiz bang, like, you know, blah, but ours, it's because you're right. That's where you find the points, the points of what to go do next, and then you can continue the plan. And so I really, really love that. And I really like how if you are a person who wants to just focus on, and just is the wrong word, if you want to master dashboards and data and interpret that, this, what you just walked through, is such a good fit. Are there any other indicators that you've seen where, hey, this type of person, or a person who really likes this, or a person who also values this, would be a great, I don't know, dashboard diva? What do you call your people? Like,
A dashboard builder, perhaps? Or,
okay, well, I'm gonna go with diva, but
well, we
builders,
call them dashboard
fine.
designers in our world. Like that's
Okay,
what
okay,
we bring through. But basically, like, yeah, you are like the ones that we've seen be most successful with actually installing this and running this play inside their businesses. One, they definitely want to still be their own boss. Like they want to be a business owner. Not necessarily great for like a traditional employee mindset.
yeah,
Like, and props to those of you that want to, continue that path. But this is like really more of a business owner play and potentially an agency play as well. So if you're wanting to even expand over time, then this is a really solid way to get started. The second thing is you have probably had some professional experience in taking your learnings and presenting them to teams or leaders in the past as well. So much of what you are doing, like you and I can look at a dashboard, Ashley, and understand it probably. But, business owner A over here is like, I just want to run the business. I just want to like do the creative stuff that I want. And so being able to bubble up what this says into, hey, we need you to make this decision. Here is the magnitude of decision A or decision B, makes it so easy for their creative minds to say, let's do B. Like 100%. I'm all in on that. I like the way that runs. I like the potential of it, like the opportunity, low risk. Like, yeah. Otherwise, they may have been just like, this might have been on the back burner for years. That's the awesome thing too, actually, by the way. Like we've seen clients that have like been thinking things for years, not just months, years and years in their business. And then we come up to them like alongside, like locking arms, saying, like, hey, here's your opportunity. Like, are you ready to take it? Because this is what you've been missing out on. They're like, finally, like I feel like I can finally say yes to going down this path. And I've been waffling on it for years. Let's go. And guys, like that is where your clients get the unlocks. That is where the money really starts seeing the flywheel effect in their business.
I'm thinking about our own experience, and I completely agree. And I mean, it's the accountability. The numbers are right there. Like there's no hiding. There's no
Yeah. And yeah, like I don't have an opinion about A or B. I'm just showing you where the money is. I'm just showing you what early indicators are leading to the most profitability in your business. So by all means, like I like that was the part for me is like I don't want to be like responsible for everything that the business does. Like they are still making the decisions. I'm just supplying all the information because you guys know that like indecision comes from a lack of clarity. It's like you don't have enough information yet. So like you're literally pulling the black and white data of what they need to know to finally make that decision.
Oh, so good. Mm-hmm. So good. Do you have any success stories from your program of, where someone was and went through your program, where is she today, or he or she?
Mhm. Yeah, some of my favorites are we had an OBM, and actually I think she's also certified as like a director of ops. And so she had thought that her client would really benefit from having a dashboard in place, because something she was noticing, she was getting like inundated with Slack messages every day. They were like constantly shooting ideas back and forth. There was scope creep galore. I was like, if I could just nail her down to focus on one thing, we could probably see so much progress. And so before, like we have an 8-week program. Before we even got to the end of 8 weeks, I think it was like week 4, she had already enrolled her in like a $4,000 upgrade into her services.
I love it.
I'm not even done yet, but I'm just going to do like part 1 for her now. And then I'll probably figure out the rest, before the end of the, the end of the time here.
Oh, I love it. Taking
Yep.
imperfect action. I love it, love it, love it, love it. So good.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like
I will say, like, I have to share, like, one of our favorite, most recent ones too, is there was a, like, tech VA agency, and it was a team of 2, but, they had been realizing that their clients could really benefit this, because they had been doing more of the, like, launch and funnel, like, tech stuff, and they're like, "Man, these guys have got so much ad spend, money spend, right? Ad spend happening in their business, like, we really think that this could help improve things for them." And so getting that one set up for them, they like charged $25,000 for this dashboard build. And they're like, the clients didn't even blink an eye. They're like, absolutely. Like, can we get started next week? Like, guys, when you are so clear about the benefits, like the going from the hell that they're in now to the heaven of when they can finally clarify, like, what's happening, where are the money leaks, where are the opportunities, like, keep tearing up those rates. Keep going.
Amazing.
The higher, the more they have to lose, the more they have to gain. It's
Totally.
incredible.
It's amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, quick question. Is there any way to learn, practice Clipfolio or similar software without having to eat the full cost before you're ready to be profitable with it?
Yes. There is, actually, if you guys come over to our Facebook group, is that okay if I share that?
Yeah.
Inside of our Facebook group, we actually have a mini course where you can get a free link to Clipfolio, and it will also walk you through building your first 3 metrics. So if
Awesome.
you'd like a free version of Clipfolio and getting that ready, like, just hop over. It's in our guide section. It's like how to build a dashboard. Just come on over and check that out.
We love it. We love it. We love it. Love it. Awesome. Have you ever worked with people that when you provide the data, they don't know what to do with it? How do you help how do you help guide them to make a decision?
Mm-hmm. Yes. That's like most of our clients. They're like, because you guys know, like, your best clients are in like masterminds and coaching programs where their coaches are saying, like, do you know your numbers? And they're like, not really. Like, if I ask my team, they might know that one number that you asked about. They are being fed every single day that they should know their numbers, that they should know them better, that they should have them real time. And honestly, like, it sucks for them that they don't. But they also, it's not like their happy place. It's not their playground. So what's so cool is, like, you can build this for them. And then that's why we have ongoing services, because most people didn't become a number whiz in 60 days, nor do they ever want to be. Like, do you realize, like, how much more valuable their time is in other areas of the business? Like, if I decided, forget talking about dashboards, like, I should just be like posting on social media all the time. Like, well, I don't think me becoming a social media manager is really going to be the best solution for growing and scaling my business. It might be good for someone on my team to be managing that, but it's probably not me, right? Like, because the bigger your business gets, like, the more valuable their time is in other places. Can I get an amen? Like, Ashley, have you seen this happening as well? Like,
All the time, because we have our own version of that. Like, we have CEOs who are coming to us and their coach is saying, outsource, get an operator, get an OBM, get a integrator, get someone to help you turn your dreams into reality. And so, like, yeah, Yes, 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 yes. Sorry, I want to get to more of these questions. What advice do you suggest for those of us working with business owners who have data coming from so many varied areas with missing information so you actually don't have the necessary data to track? Great
Mhm.
question.
Yes. Yeah, guys, totally right. Garbage in, garbage out. Right? That's one of the critical steps that we had to discover painfully, but then also embed that as part of our system and getting dashboards built in the first place. Because, like, I didn't want to have to go reinvent the wheel or like rescrub the data every single time they needed fresh information. So sometimes part of our heavy lift in the beginning is making sure that they do have the right processes in place, they have the right software in place to make sure that the data can flow accurately and on time to the dashboard. And what's so great about this too is like this is stuff that they needed anyway. Like,
Right.
they needed this tech or this system or this software anyway, and you're just helping them like kind of fill in the gaps, which is something that's going to help them long term.
Uh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Any other questions, y'all?
These are great questions, by the way. And I want to
I
quickly
know.
I saw Daphne and Tiffany here too. I think you were on our training last week, so good to see you guys over here too.
Love it, love it, love it. Do you think there are key data points every business owner should have front and center beyond the typical profit and revenue?
Yes, great question, Natalie. So if you think about it, like lots of things happen in a business, right? Like there's all sorts of moving parts. There's levers you can pull. There's gears that are always turning. And then at the end of the day, when all is said and done, there's a certain amount of cash left in the bank. So if we're only looking at cash in dollars, we are only looking in the rear view mirror. All right. Anybody of you just drive like cross country looking at the rear view mirror lately? Doesn't work out too well. No. But instead, when like consider like an actual car dashboard. Like you need to know how much gas you have in the tank. Are my RPMs within an acceptable range, or am I going to fry the engine soon? Like, you know, all of what's my speed? Like, do I want to move fast or do I want to go a little slow? I'm about to go over a railroad track. Do I need to like kind of pause a little bit? There are different things happening in the road. I need to make different decisions now based on my environments. And I'm using the gauges in front of me to help decide if I should go left or go right or stay straight, speed up, slow down. And so the same thing is crucial and critical for those businesses that are actually going to scale and to improve on their profit margins because they need those early indicators, not just the what we call lagging indicators like financials. We need those early indicators to decide like, hey, are we okay? Like, is this launch going to be good based on the registrations and the attendance? You know, are we going to be successful because of some of these earlier KPIs that we're seeing? So, and my favorite question to ask myself, Natalie, in this case is like, what's the question before that? So
Yes.
it's like, if I want certain dollars in the bank, what has to happen before that? I need to have more sales calls. What needs to happen before that? If I need more sales calls, I need more people landing on the application page. Okay, well, what needs to happen before that? Like you kind of like keep asking yourself that, and that's like a really great starting point of deciding like, well, if this is the goal, then what are all the little points in between that I potentially could track? And then you start measuring it against, well, what's available to track? You know, so much of our data is already hanging out in the software that we're using every day, whether you've got QuickBooks, HubSpot, social media, all the different email marketing tools that we have, all the different funnel software that we're using these days. Like the data is already hanging out. It's just severely underutilized. And it's telling the story for you.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Last question, y'all, from Layne. How do you deal with dirty data? Is it a problem with all or with small businesses?
By the way, shout out Layne. Love the name. Okay. Dirty data. Yes. Girl, this is a problem everywhere. Like I have yet to see a business that doesn't have dirty data. But part of the process is certainly identifying like what information do we want and then can we get it from the current tool, because guys, we still come across this like, you ever have software, like two pieces of software technically track the same thing, but this one's trustworthy and this one's like, no, don't believe a word that one says.
Oh
That one's
my God,
just
yes.
like shooting numbers off the hip each day. Right. So there's always dirty data out there, but like your process, like what you get to create then is what's going to be my standard, like A to Z process to manage the dirty data. What tools can we use? Maybe if we're getting scrappy at the beginning, maybe it is a spreadsheet tracker to start with. Like, let's track it for a while. Let's prove that it's important enough to continue tracking. And then if we decide that it is, well, maybe then we look for a tool or a tech, solution that we could install here.
Love it. I
Mm-hmm.
love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Layne, for being with us this week. I know that everyone got an incredible amount of value. So if there is one thing that you want to leave this audience with, OBMs who could be interested in dashboards or how really to serve their clients, what would you say? What would that be?
Yeah, I would say get yourself educated. Like I said, like clarity comes from more information. So if this is something that you truly feel like could be a good fit for you, like surround yourself with people that are going that route as well. And so that's why I feel like it'd be really great for, those of you here today to go ahead and jumpstart on our mini course. Like we've got folks that have been going through that are really like feel like, hey, now I'm really well informed on what this could look like for me. And I'll say, like, from there, you pretty much have a good understanding of, like, is this something I want to pursue further? Like, what if I did just want to try this with one client and see how it goes? Like, so many times we try to, like, overcomplicate it. Like, we've either got to do it all or nothing. Like, how about just take the next step? Like, just learn a little bit more. See if it feels right for you. Yay.
So good. Y'all, we are going to put the links of how you can go find Layne in the comments. Thank you, Layne. It's been wonderful. So much great information. And you are fantastic at taking what could be a very complicated topic and breaking it down so that it is so approachable. And so thank you for that. Thank you. And for everyone who is listening, we will be back same time next week. And we are talking about leveraging LinkedIn. Almost all of you have been asking me, Ashley, I feel like LinkedIn is a gold mine. Yes, yes, it is. And so we're talking all about that next week. Can't wait to see all of you, and reach out in our Facebook group or at prowessproject.com on any of the socials if you have any questions. Bye,
awesome.
y'all.
Thanks so much, Ashley. Y'all have your own whiteboard drop this moment.